हाय, गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन। अगर लंच हो गया है तो स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं क्लास। ओके, in this class we will discuss the weekly current affairs. I am taking the 2-3 topics from the last week and discussing here. The main idea behind these classes, how we can use the information of newspaper in the exam, how we can focus on the material of the newspaper in the mains answer writing, and how we can take the information from the paper for the prelims perspective. So main idea behind these classes to give you skills how you can majorly focus on the newspaper, because at this time the market is flooded with the material. You will find like the multiple coaching institute magazine in the market, and there is always confusion how we can use the data, how we can use the case study and the examples from the newspaper itself to the exam. So content की कमी नहीं है, but we are having the lack of the usage, how we can use that content at a correct place. So the main idea behind these classes just to give you skills about the reading of the newspaper, how to extract the information. In these classes, I will take 2-3 topics on every Friday, and after each topic, you will find the mains question or the prelims question according to the demand of the topic. In the last class, I gave you some of the homework related to the 3 topics we discussed in the last class. Similarly, today I will discuss the 2 topics. One topic is related to the railway reforms in the country, and the second topic is related to the poverty. In 2022, in the previous years, you will find out there was a single question on the railway. That was a 15-marker question that was asked by the UPSC. So the railway has a very important role to play in the country. So we will discuss the railway as well as the poverty-related topic today. So the first topic we will discuss is about the speed and strategy. That article was taken from the Business Standards. Here we are covering the many sources like Hindu Express, Mint Premium down to us. So there is no need to go to any other sources. So you can rely on these sources as well. Before going to the discussion, every Saturday there is a test of the MCQ. We are taking the MCQ test, a 20-question test. That test will be based on from 17 July till 22 July. Current affairs. And these current affairs, you can directly read from the Edukemy websites. From 17 to 22 means from Monday to Friday, from 17 to 22, all the 20 questions will be from these topics only. And some of the questions you can find from these discussion we are having today. Okay, any doubts anyone have regarding the classes? With extra these 4 classes, we are having 2 more classes in the mid of the month. Like for the July month, we will have the classes in the mid-August, on the 15-14 August. In which we are discussing some of the editorials, and we are giving the compilation of the editorials to you. And on other classes, we are discussing the mapping questions. Like if you are analyzing the prelims question of the UPSC, you will find out that there are the 7-8 questions on the mapping. Even in 2023, there are the 8 questions on the mappings, and all the questions were covered by us in the current affair class that we are taking. So for each month, we are taking those classes as well. So in a month, there will be almost the 6 classes. And the duration of the classes will be in between the 1 and 1.5 hours, not more than that. So you can easily attend these classes. Okay. Yeah. Timing for the test is the 11 a.m. Like you people are coming for the geography option at 12 a.m. So you can come at 11 a.m. 1 hour early and attempt the test. After the test, I will tell you the answers so you can match your answers. Where are you lacking out? कहाँ पे आपको कमी है? That will be the idea. And giving the test is also important. Like you are reading the optional, you are reading the current affairs, you are reading all other general study subjects. But how to implement those information is more important. If you are reading the newspaper and not able to give the answer of the questions, means there is no worth of reading that content. आपने पढ़ा है उसके बाद भी आपको नहीं आ रहा है, that's the issue in the reading. So through the test, you will identify how to focus on the topic. If there is a question related to the Indian Railway in the mains, and you are not able to answer the topic, means there is a lack of understanding related to the topics, or you are reading the topic, but you are not able to give the answer. So after the test, you will realize this is a thing you need to be required from the newspaper. And this is a regular exercise, and it will be up to 2024. Means we will cover almost 56 tests in a year. 55 to 56 tests in a year. and each test is having the 20 questions. Mean you will almost covered 1120 topics through the question only. And this is a huge number. In the last year, out of these current affair question, more than 18 to 20 question was in the paper. In the one form or the another form, 7, 8 were the direct, but other was the indirect question in the paper. So this is the outcome. If you're relying on the magazine, the issue with the magazines, like the each month, the magazine is of the 120 to 150 pages you will find. हर महीने इतने पेज का मैगजीन आता है. If I am multiplying this magazine by 20, you have the 1800 pages. Is it possible to revise 1800 pages before the prelims? And the outcome of these magazines, like you will find out the 4 to 5 questions, 2, 3 directly and 2, 3 indirectly. But after reading the 1800 pages, I am not sure I will attempt these questions 100% with surety. क्योंकि कंटेंट में इतना पढ़ चुका हूं, मेरा क्लैरिटी उस हिसाब से नहीं है. So we need to limit ourselves with the limited content, but we need to be focused on the content very clearly. What is the weightage in the exam? How I can use this content in the paper, and what is the relevancy, and what is the trend of the UPSC related to the that topic. उसके बेसिस पे ही आपका रीडिंग होना चाहिए. अदरवाइज यू विल एंड अप टू गोइंग टू रीडिंग, क्या पढ़ते रहोगे लेकिन उसका रिजल्ट नहीं मिलेगा. ओके. So the first topic for today is the railway reforms in the country. Everybody travel through the Indian Railway. कोई ऐसा है जो नहीं घूमा अभी तक रेल में? In India, there is total almost the 70,000 kilometer of railway track. In India, almost there are 70,000 kilometer of railway tracks and almost 21,000 trains. And these 21,000 trains carry 23 million people on daily basis and 3 million tons of freight on daily basis. So these kind of the data you people can use in your introduction. In India, total rail length is 70,000 kilometers and almost the 21,000 trains. Out of these 21,000, 13,000 trains are almost the passenger trains and the 8,000 trains are the freight trains. And they are carrying the 23 million passenger daily and the 3 millions of the freight on the daily basis. This is the strength of the Indian Railway. So before going to the discussion, let's discuss a brief history about the Indian Railway. कहाँ से start हुआ, कब start हुआ, who suggested first about the Indian Railway? Anybody? हाँ, yes, running daily. Any idea? Who give the idea of the railway in the country? ब्रिटिशर में कोई पार्टिकुलर पर्सन होगा ना. अब ब्रिटिशर तो यूके ने थोड़ी दे दिया. नो. Let's see a brief history. In 1844, a railway engineer from the UK, name is Stephenson, who gave the idea of the railway for India. In 1844, the first idea was given by the Stephenson for the railway in India, and in the 1853, first railway line was formed from Mumbai to Thane. And the length was almost 33 kilometers. And in 1854, the first train was run from Havra to Hooghly. And it all were happened during the time of Lord Dalhousie. So we are considering that Lord Dalhousie, he was the first person who gave the idea, but the idea was given by the Stephenson. And the first railway, the largest line they think about from Kolkata टू मिर्जापुर. मिर्जापुर सबको याद होगा. From Calcutta to Mirzapur, even the Britishers were given the importance to Mirzapur at that time also. So this is a brief history about the Indian Railway that was started. And one major point here, Britishers almost gave India 60,000 kilometers of rail track. Before 1947, India had 60,000 kilometers railway track, and today India is only having 68,500 kilometers railway track. What done by Britishers during that time, and what done by Indian government during that time in the last 75 years? Only 8,500 kilometers of the route are newly route formed by the Indian government in the last 75 years. If I am taking the average, almost 1,200 kilometers per year, 100 kilometers per month. So this is the work done by the Indian government in the railway. So this is a brief history about the Indian Railway. But from the after the 2016-2017, the railway government start thinking about the railway, and there is much investment in the Indian Railway from the government side. But before going to that investment, those strategy, sorry, we will focus on why there is a reforms required in the railway. Q required. What are the major issue? What is the major issue which need to be covered by the Indian Railway? So which kind of the reforms is required? So we divide the headings under the 5 heads. Economic development, departmentalism, administrative reforms, modernization and safety. Let's come to the first. Economic development. हम जब भी बजट देखते हैं या कोई भी न्यूज देखते हैं, there is an idea, there is increase in the losses of the Indian Railway. There is an increase in the losses of Indian Railway from the my birth till I am the 29-year-old. अभी तक तो losses में ही है Indian Railway. Each year during the budget they are announcing we are in the loss. So this is the economic issue, the bigger economic issue in the Indian Railway. And according to the Indian Railway, they are covering only the 45% of the cost incurred. If the railway is spending the 100 rupee, they are getting only 45 out of it. So this is the economic issue in the Indian Railway. And some of the economic development related issue, like they are not using the technology, investment in the Indian Railway, and managing the finances. So these are some of the economic developmental issue in the Indian Railway, for which there is a requirement need to be focused on the economic development of the railway. And in the today era, where the India population is the 1.4 billion, there is a need to be focused on the more development, more number of trains for the freight corridors, and the more number of stations as well. Anybody can tell the number of stations in India? Number of railway stations in India? 15,000. It's almost the 7,400s. Almost the 7,400 railway station in the country. So this is the first point why there is a economic development is required in the Indian Railway. The second is the departmentalism. आप लोगों को जब recommend करेगा UPSC to DOPT, so DOPT is the main department for the services, Department of Personal Training. Similarly, there are the various departments in the Indian Railway. So we can write about the finance department, mechanical departments. आप में से कुछ होंगे भी मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर जिन्होंने अप्लाई भी किया होगा. Electrical department, and some of the other departments related to police. So there are the multiple departments in the Indian Railway, and each department is headed by the some other heads, and finally lead by the railway board. So there is an issue in the operations when there are many number of the departments, finance, mechanical, electrical, railway board, तो एक control करना मुश्किल हो जाता है. All having their different view about their departments. If the mechanical department will say कि हमें merge कर दो, then there will be a issue with the head of the departments कि उसकी autonomy चला जाएगा. Similarly with the other department as well. So there is an issue with the reforms in the railway section. But the government of India introduced IRMS, Indian Railway Management Service. Under this service, the recruitment for all the departments will be through IRMS in the A grade. In the A grade post, the recruitment will be through IRMS. Next is the administrative reforms. The Indian Railway working in the two cases. One is the core area and second is the non-core area. Anybody can tell me the non-core area? That's the core area of the railway. In the core area, it's the passenger trains and the freight trains, where they are operating about the different kind of system or the ticketing system. The non-core area, they are focusing on the education of the railway personnel, land acquisition. They are focusing on the medical health of the railway person, and they are also focusing on the railway police force. These are the non-core area. Maintenance comes under this core area because they are operating under the private trains, freight trains and the ticketing system. So maintenance will come under the core area of the railway board. That comes under this one, non-core area. So that's why the IRCTC were developed. There was an issue with related to the food, so the IRCTC came. Now the railway is focusing on the both these area, but this area can be controlled by some of the other agency. If this non-core area is transferred to some other agency, then the railway can be work on this specific core area. Do you know, till now only the railway freight is 7 to 8% of all the transportation all over the country. 7 से 8% ही contribute करता है railway, and the target is the 45% by 2050. In the freight, the Indian Railway only contributes 7 to 8%, and the target is 45% up to 2050. The next is the modernization. Next point is the modernization of the Indian Railway. We are looking at the new kind of trains, Tejas, Vande Bharat. Lekin only the building of the new trains is not the modernization. We need to be focused on the cleanliness, new technology, and timing of the trains, ticketing system. जब भी आप रेलवे की वेबसाइट पे जाते हो, if I want to travel tomorrow to Chandigarh, I will not get the ticket from the site. Always be in the waiting. If I want to go to Chandigarh, a week before I need to book a ticket. So always there is an issue with the ticketing system. If I am going to the sleeper class, then the cleanliness issue, a very big issue. Then the some kind of a tech related issue. अगर आप दिल्ली से, हरियाणा से या कहीं पे यूपी से दिल्ली में एंटर करते हैं, तो रेलवे स्टेशन से पहले 2 किलोमीटर पहले रेल को रोक दिया जाता है. Like every train will stop before the entering the Delhi. New Delhi railway station, Nizamuddin railway station, the old Delhi railway station, because of the tracking issue. The track is not vacant at that time. So it's well taking the half an hour, even sometimes the 2 or 3 hours also. So these are some of the issue where the railway need to be focused on. So administrative reforms is required. We need to be separate the core area of the administration from the non-core area, so that the railway can be specifically focused on the running of the train, specifically focused on the freight, because the freight is the area from where the railway can get the maximum amount of the finance. Yes. Yes, no proper sanitation. But in the higher class, like the tier 2 AC, AC1, you will find the good sanitation nowadays. But in the tier 3 AC sleeper class, there will be no sanitation. So railway should be work on these kind of also. But there is a much improvement after 2010. If you see the condition before the 2000 related to the cleanliness, there is a much improvement now. Next is the safety. Anybody can tell me the data related to safety of the Indian Railway? Govt is not a data. Govt is like a system which is protecting the collision of the different trains if they are running on the same route. Like if there is a single route, train A is coming from this side and train B is coming from this side, the Govt system will get both the trains are coming on the same track on the same direction. So both the train will stop here from the automatic brake. So this is about the Govt system. In India, out of the 23,000 trains, only the 2,000 trains having the Govt system. So Railway Board of the Government of India start होने से पहले इसको promote करना शुरू करते हैं. Even the local public know कि Govt system सब trains में है, but only the 2,000 trains till now having the Govt system in the country. And according to the National Crime Record Bureau, you can write the data. According to National Crime Record Bureau, there is increase in the 34% of train accident in 2021. There is an increase in the 34% of train accident in 2021. If you are not writing the data in your answer, you will not get good marks. If you are not writing the examples, if you are not writing about the reforms with examples, you will not get good marks in your answer. So there is a requirement whenever you are writing your answer, write good data, quote the organization name. Like here we are quoting the National Crime Record Bureau Railway. The data is not given by me, this is given by NCRB. So we need to be quote the data according to the given organization. Now let's come to the second part here. We see about what is required. Now, what challenges the Indian Railway facing? What are the main challenges? We will discuss about it now. Okay. So subsidies in the Indian Railways are very less. Now they are decreasing also the subsidy above the 60 years of age also. In the some of the special train, abhi to hata hi diya gaya hai. So the subsidy issue is very less in the Indian Railway. But the maintenance of the Indian Railway and the operations, they need to be mainly focused on the operations so that the operation can be worked smoothly. So let's discuss one by one. Number one is the congested network. We took the example of the train stopping before the New Delhi. In India, out of the 100% of the railway network, the 60% of the railway network is overutilized. Overutilized means if the network is having the way for the 4 trains in a day, more than the 6-7 trains are going on the same track. This is the overutilization of track. कोई ट्रैक से एक दिन में 4 से 5 ट्रेन ही जा सकती है, but the government is using those tracks for 7 to 8 trains. So this is the overutilization of tracks and the congestion of the Indian railway network. So we need to be focused on development of the more tracks so that these congestion can be stopped. Like after the 75 years, we only developed almost about the 8,000 kilometers only, 8 to 10,000 kilometers of tracks only after 75 years. Inefficiency of the Indian Railway. Anybody can tell me the example of inefficiency? Where the Indian Railway is inefficient? Ticket collecting system, schedule, and security lapses is not the inefficiency. Signaling system. That's the technology part. Like inefficiency, mostly that come under the operation heads. Operation of Indian Railway is very weak. There is a need to be change the ticketing system. The government is spending the money on those routes which are having the very less traffic. जहां पे ट्रैफिक बहुत कम है, means states having the very less train traffic, 2-3 trains in a day, but the government is spending more money there. So the outcome from those states is very less. Outcome is very less from those states where the government is investing the money for making new tracks. So there should be the identification specifically which location is required the maximum track. So जो operational issue है, identification issue है, that's the major issue. Ticketing system need to be improved. That only can be improved when there is increase in the number of trains. And then only increase in number of trains when there is an increase in the number of tracks. So all are interlinked related to the inefficiency of the Indian Railway. Next is the decline in the revenue generation. In this case, we can write about the freight, revenue from the freight, and the revenue from the passenger trains. The railway is only covering the 45% of their spending from the passenger trains. Yes. No, safety concern alag rahenge, like the signaling systems and the safety braking system will be the different thing. But in efficiency, where the train system can be more efficient to provide a greater service in the same, like हमें tracks increase नहीं करने हैं, हमें trains increase नहीं करनी है, but how we can increase the efficiency in the same system. Okay, speed को increase करके, these are the targets. Like in the speeding system, the Indian Railway is targeting by 2030 they will increase the 25% speed of all trains. So we will discuss these reforms later on. Then decline in the revenue generation, the railway is always saying we are getting the 45% of the revenue out of the 100 rupees spending. So this is a major issue where they are spending the more money and how they are not taking the financial output from the same money. And the one of the inefficient system is that like people are not taking the tickets. जो भी travel करता है trains में means the 20-30% are not taking the tickets. Out of the 23 millions who are traveling daily, out of 23 million, 3-4 millions are not taking the tickets. This is the one of the issue of the inefficiency also. So need to be checking कि कैसे checking को अच्छे से operate कर सकते हैं. There is a corruption system also. If the people is found in this this person is not having the tickets, they are taking 500 rupee and release them. These kind of system need to be upgraded. Then the centralized decision making. Everybody know there is a various kind of the hubs like the Northern Railway, Western Railway, Central Railway, Northeastern Railway, and the Southern Railway. These are the 5 railway system in the India to operating the operations of the all the railway managements. But the final decision making power is with the railway board. Final decision making power is with the railway boards. So these are undermining the power of these boards. The power of Northern Railway, Western Railway, Central Railway. So there is a need to be reforms, decentralization of the system. Like if there is a decentralization in these 5, Northern, Western, Central Railway, so there is a competition in these railway which can perform better. If there is a centralization, then all should depend on the decision of the central authority. What should be done? If there is an independence in between them, so they can do on their own. Like in the case of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, there is an index released by the Niti Aayog for the cleanliness. Indore is performing very well, always on the first rank. Indore. That kind of a system can also be framed there related to the operations of the railway system. Then the competition from the aviation industry. After the UDAN, Uday Desh Ka Aam Nagrik scheme by the government of India, there is a huge competition to the railway industry. The tier 2 fare and the AC1 fare is almost equivalent to the flight fare. Like if I want to go from Delhi to Mumbai through Rajdhani, through the AC2 tier, the ticket is almost about 3,300. Through plane, it's almost about the 3,800. But time saving is almost 20 hours. So I adopt the aviation. So these kind of issues also arising. Then the vicious cycle of poor finances. Like the railway is not getting the revenue. Agar revenue nahi aayega, to always in the poor cycle of finances. Like in the case of the poverty, if any person is poor, he is continue to be poor because of the employment, अच्छा employment नहीं है. there is no resources to that human. So again, that will be in the poverty. The same with the railway. They're not improving their revenue. So that's why always they are saying about we are only getting 45 to 50%. Yes, that tapeism, decision making, that's a major issue. अगर कोई भी सिस्टम को हमें इंप्रूव करना है तो द प्रोसेस शुड बी द फास्ट, जितना ज्यादा जल्दी इंप्लीमेंट हो विदाउट एनी कमी. यस, लोकोमोटिव्स में ट्रैक्स पे नहीं होते. नहीं, ट्रैक्स पे नहीं है, लोकोमोटिव्स पे. Then is the steps taken by the government. What are the major steps taken by the government to improving the condition of the railway in the country? The number one is the dedicated freight corridor. Anybody can tell me the name of these corridors? Eastern dedicated freight corridor and the Western dedicated freight corridor. Eastern is funded by the World Bank and the Western is funded by the Japan. Eastern dedicated freight corridor is from Ludhiana to Calcutta and the Western is from नहीं, वो आप जो बात कर रहे हो वो है रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट. दिस इज द रेलवे. मुंबई टू अहमदाबाद नहीं है. सबने पढ़ा है. This is the condition and you are reading the articles and you are no having the, अभी तक ये भी नहीं पता कि ईस्टर्न कहां से और वेस्टर्न कहां से. सोचो. ठीक है. दादरी इन हरियाणा, उत्तर प्रदेश टू मुंबई. So this is the second one, western peripheral. वेस्टर्न साइड भी देख सकते हैं आप. द वेस्टर्न साइड ऑफ इंडिया विच इज द मेजर हब. मुंबई इज द मेजर हब द सेंट्रल रेलवे, so it's going to the Mumbai from the UP. ठीक है. So these corridors are specifically formed from the freight to increase the transport through the railway, freight transport through the railway, so that the railway can earn the more revenue and there can be the less congestion on the passenger route. And there can be the less congestion on the passenger routes. If the freight corridors are running on these lines, then there will be the less congestion on the passenger route also. Next is the PM Gati Shakti. PM Gati Shakti is specifically for road, railway, port, airports, and waterway. PM Gati Shakti scheme is specifically for the infrastructure development of the railway, port, road, airports, and the waterway. Means the development of the infrastructure of these 5 sectors. So that if the infrastructure will increase for the each sector, there will be the highly efficient department of this system. Highly efficient train, highly efficient road, highly efficient ports, and the airports. So you can quote about the PM Gati Shakti under the railway also. So this railway is also a component here. Then is the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. After the COVID, the government of India announced the Atmanirbhar Bharat. After the announcement of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the 92% of the components of the components which are required by the railway now manufactured in the India only. After the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the component which is required for the railway, out of those 92% are now manufactured in the India only. Kisan Rail. The government started the Kisan Rail for the perishable goods, so that this is also initiative for doubling the farmer income, so that the farmers can transport their produce to all over the country. Nahin, there are different routes. Even in the case of the road, highway and the railway, there is a coordination between the ministry. कहीं से road है तो that can be through the underpass and the railway through the bridge. वो एक्चुअली आप कहना चाह रहे हैं फ्रेट के केस में. इन द केस ऑफ द फ्रेट, इन द ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑफ बाय द रोड, इट्स ऑलवेज कॉस्टली. If I am transporting anything through by the roadway, it's always will be costly than the railway. That's why the government, to counter the private sector, like the private sector is adopting the most of the road transport, to counter that private sector, the government is developing the railway sector for the freight corridor, and the cost is almost 70% of the road transport. So that's why this will help in the increase in the freight corridor. Kisan Rail. The government started the many rails, almost like there's a various numbers तो याद नहीं है अभी, but almost 200 plus rails for the Kisan, and they're specifically for the perishable goods, so that the farmers can transport their goods at lower prices from the one place to another place. And the major thing about these Kisan rails, these are also having the storage system like the cold storage, so that it can be easily transferred from the one state to the another state. Station? हाँ, नाम नहीं अभी actually I don't know. Then about the green fuel initiative. In the case of the green fuel initiative, there is 100% electrification. There is 100% electrification of the Indian Railway, and the target was 2023. The complete electrification of the Indian Railway, the target was 2023, and it's completed. Now, the train is running as a green fuel and the less impact on the environment. And there is if agar electrification hoga, so there is a decrease in the number of bogie in the train also. Like initially they are carrying a generator bogie with them, so that will also decrease, and it will increase the efficiency of the train. So this is almost done for the 100% electrification by 2023. Station infrastructure development program. Now the government is tying up with the private party. Like the government has a target of completion of 400 railway stations, specifically 400 railway stations which are having the highest infrastructure, and the first railway station was developed in the MP. Anybody can give the name? First PPP railway station. Rani Kamlapati. Rani Kamlapati railway station in Bhopal is the first developed PPP railway station in the country. This is the next station to Bhopal. Rani Kamlapati railway station. This is the first PPP developed station in the country, and the government is targeting 400 stations of these kinds. The major station will be developed under the PPP category. कुछ states में हो गया, but they are targeting the 2023. Till the end of the 2023, they will complete the electrification. Next is the digitization initiative. Like for a ticketing system, the government done the digitization. We can directly book the ticket from the IRCTC. But some of the another initiative or digitization. ई ऑप्शन टेंडर्स के लिए आपको डायरेक्टली अप्लाई कर सकते हो वेबसाइट्स पे फॉर टिकेटिंग्स. इफ यू वांट टू order food on tracks through IRCTC, आप वो भी कर सकते हो. If you file the cancellation of the tickets, you can also file on the online mode. Now there is no need to go to railway station, and you can do these functions on your own at home. So these are the digitization of the Indian Railway. And even for the operation purpose, they are also using some of the digitization techniques, like for the financial developments, which are the major complex area in the Indian Railway. कि finance को कैसे calculate करना है. This is a major target of the government of India also. Even after the suggestion of the Vivek Debroy committee related to the finance, there is a need to be simplify the financial infrastructure of the Indian Railway. Because there is a huge mess in the financial infrastructure of the Indian Railway. So we will also discuss about the recommendation of the Vivek Debroy committee. He recommended the 4-5 points related to the Indian Railway. Connecting Northeast and the mining district. Through the development of the Northeast sector, the government is taking this scheme, development of the railway track to the Northeast. Recently, there is a train started in the Manipur specifically, and some of the other states of the Northeast also. So their government is majorly focused on those districts which are connected with the mining. So it can be directly linked to the industrial hub and the linking of the Northeast to the other India. So now the government is also focused on these type of things. Vistadom trains, religious circuits के लिए, the trains the government is started for the religious circuit specifically. Bharat Darshan train that comes under the Vistadom trains. Then the train collision system, Govt. The train collision system, Govt, which was start developing during the 2007-8, but till now only the 2000 trains. Now these are the 7 missions of the Indian Railway. Mission 25 ton. Mission 25 ton. Under this mission, the railway is focusing on carrying out the freight, increased by 25% of the freight in the next few years. Mission Zero Accident through the Govt system. Railway is focusing on reducing the number of accidents. Mission Pace. In Mission Pace, they are procurement of different kind of the materials, different kind of equipments required for the Indian Railway, for any agency who are operating the food system in the railway. So through the Mission Pace, they are developing a technology through which they can directly hire without any inefficiency. Mission Raftar means they need to increase the 25% speed of the each train. If any train is having the 40 km/h, the next target for the next 5 years that will operate up to 60 kilometers. Means increase in the 25% of the speed of the each train. Mission 100. What is the Mission 100? Electrification. Electrification of the Indian Railway. Mission Beyond Bookkeeping means the Indian Railway is using the various kind of the books for the financial managements and the other kind of the purpose. So they want to completely digitizing this system, completely digitizing the finance system also. Mission Capacity Utilization. We discussed about the 60% of the railway route is the highly utilized, more than their capacity, but the 40% of the routes are not utilized as per their capacity. So according to this mission, the railway is going to use the 100% utilization of all the railway track in the country. So these are 7 missions of the Indian Railway that had been taken under by the Railway Board of India. Next is a suggestion by the Vivek Debroy committee. So whenever you are concluding your answer, you need to write the way forward. If you're writing the way forward as a suggestion of any of the committee, your answer will be the well enriched than the other answer. So you can directly quote the suggestion by the Vivek Debroy committee on the restructuring of the train. Independent regulator. Like we discussed about the various departments, department A, B, C, D on the Indian Railway. So they are specifically focused on the independent regulators, means we need to be merged all the department as a single department, and there should be the single operator for the Indian Railway. So they can be the easy decision making. Privatization of the Indian Railway. Vivek Debroy suggests that there is no need to privatization of the Indian Railway, but the investment is required. Private investment is required, but no complete privatization. He suggested no complete privatization, but private investment is required in the Indian Railway. Focus on the core activity, as we discussed about the two kind of the business, the core business and the non-core business of Indian Railway. Yes. FDI, for funding from the private sectors, like the Tata can invest, Reliance can invest, some of the foreign direct investment also, but no privatization, no train on the name of the private entity. Like there was a discussion 1 year before in the news channels कि India Railway को private कर दिया गया. That's the issue कि उनको private नहीं करना है, but you need to be focused on the private investment. हाँ, yes. No, there can be a different condition in it. Like if any of the private entity is investing in the Indian Railway, so there should be a term and condition कि आपको next 15 years तक dividends easily मिलेगा या कम interest rate पे मिलेगा. Like in the case of the road infrastructure that are developed on the basis of the BOT, build, operate and transfer. तो जो वो recover करते हैं अपना value, they are recovering in the 15-20 years. तो उसके basis पे ही जो भी agreement sign होंगे to the private entity, that will be signed on the government. जो government decide करेगा, that will be the final one. Like in the case of the Delhi Metro, the Reliance was operating the airport line. Initially, the Reliance was operating the airport line, but due to the conditions, they are not operating well. So the DMRC taken back the lines from the Reliance. The ticket price is also decreased by the DMRC, where the Reliance was charging almost 100 rupee from New Delhi to the airport, and the DMRC is charging almost 55 rupee. So the line has become the more operational. If there is a decrease in the ticket price, passenger will be more. In the case of Reliance, if only the 100 passengers are traveling in a day, in the case of the DMRC, they increase to 1,000. That's why the revenue increase. This means the utilization of the capacity of the railway. If we are increasing the prices very high, the middle class will not travel, the lower class will not travel in the metro. Yeah, GS3, infrastructure development. I will show you, they asked the question in 2022. Then the financing issue, the Vivek de Broye suggests about the financing issue. There is a need to be completely overhaul the financing system, because there is a mess in the financing system of the Indian Railway. So there is a clarity about the finance, how the railway is getting the finance, and what is the outcome of the investment. So there is a issue related financing issue, and the streamline the recruitment and the HR process. Now there are the 8 categories in the Indian Railway. In the A grade, through which they are getting the candidates through UPSC, some through the engineering service, some through the administrative service. And there's some of the category through the SSC also in the grade B. So he suggested to merge all these services and only a single recruitment agency for the recruitment for the A grade services specifically. That's why the Indian government suggested the Indian Railway Management Services, so that they can merge all the services of the A sector into a single service. Now let's see the question related to it. This was the question in the UPSC 2022. Why is the PPP required in the infrastructure? Examine the role of PPP in the development of railway stations in India. So here you need to know about the PPP role in the Indian Railway. कहाँ पे private investment start हुआ है? Number 1, in the development of railway station. You can give the examples of Rani Kamlapati station in the Bhopal. In the making of the railway lines. Like the largest line was started from Gujarat to Mumbai. In case of the some of the trains where the private investment, like in the case of Tejas, they are the private investments. And in the case of the development of the some of the L&T is the company which is doing the बना रहे हैं वो manufacturing कर stations को develop कर रहे हैं. हाँ, L&T is a company which is working there. लेकिन इन्वेस्टमेंट L&T का नहीं है। L&T इज अ कंपनी हु इज मेकिंग द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, वो बना रही है लेकिन पैसा कोई और लगा रहा है। ठीक है, these kind of the examples you can need to be mentioned here, and why there is a requirement, why there is a requirement, so you can add the challenges we discuss here about the Indian Railway. So these kind of the question can be directly asked into the GS3. So you need to be right about the data, आपके पास examples होना चाहिए, आप क्या क्या issues है Indian Railway में आपके पास वो होना चाहिए. So there is a question for your homework, you can write this question. Discuss the significance of recent railway reforms. Discuss the significance of recent railway reforms and infrastructure development in India. How do these measures contribute to the country economic growth and transportation efficiency? To the country economic growth and transportation efficiency. This is a complete information about the Indian Railway. कोई भी question आता है in the mains, you can write from this information only. So each kind of the question you can answer from this information. So we are ending this session today due to the disturbance from the upper floor. So ये continue रहेगा अभी. The next topic you can read on your own, or if you are having doubts related to the next topic, I will be there to discuss. I will show you the topic from where you can read. It is an article from the Hindu. A roadmap to eliminate Indian Express. A roadmap to eliminate poverty in India. This article is by the R. Rangarajan. And this is a major personality who is writing specifically about the poverty. So I suggest please read this article. Note down some of the points I can show you here. I will share these slides also. There are some of the points जहाँ पे आपको quote करना होता है graphical data related to the per capita income, related to the ICOR. So you need to be write these data in your economic answer. So I will suggest please read these article and try to answer this question. हाँ वो मैं बता देता. I will share in the groups. मैं आपको शेयर कर दूं आर्टिकल का लिंक इन द ग्रुप. ठीक है, 19 July written here is 19 July 2023. You can find this on the Edukemy website also, so you can read from there. Tomorrow there will be a current affair test at 11 AM. Please try to answer, or please try to read from 19 to 24. All the question will be from this. 17 to 24 means last 5 days, Monday to Friday, 17 to 24. Yes. Okay. So we will meet tomorrow again at 11 AM with the test of current affairs. If anybody have any doubts related to the current affairs or any of the GS subjects, you can directly come to us and you can directly ask anything about it. Even it's the answer writing, even it's about the prelims, किसी भी चीज के बारे में in the GS, you can ask any of the questions from us. Okay. So we will meet tomorrow. Thank you. हाँ, मैगजीन कॉस्मोस आता है यहाँ का, वही एनफ है. कॉस्मोस on the Edukemy website you find the Cosmos specifically related to geography and environment.